Welcome back on Hoop and Helmets. I'm Brody Jacobson, and we're going to be talking about Week 8 football in college, and I'm joined by Lucas DeVries. And let's start it off with our spread picks for the week, and I'm going to start it in prime time in the LSU-Arkansas game, and I like Garrett Nussmeier and LSU at home. They're favored by 2.5, and I like them against an Arkansas team that is coming off a big win against Tennessee. Nussmeier is also coming off a big win last week against Ole Miss, and he said earlier this week that he loves the pressure. He didn't play great in the beginning of the game, but he'll thrive when he gets under pressure. On the road, in Fayetteville, I'll take LSU favored by 2.5 in this one.
It's a good pick there. So for me, I got to go with my boys. Clemson Tigers, we got them minus 21. So we got them this week home against Virginia. Virginia, pretty good start to the year, but I just don't really believe in them that much. We've been playing great recently, blowing out teams, covering spreads left and right. I think Kate Klubnik and the boys, easy.
All right, that's an interesting pick, but it's a Clemson fan, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Let's take it over to West Point, New York at Michie Stadium, the 12 o'clock, East Carolina at Army, and Army's 6-0. Number 23, Navy's also ranked. They're both 6-0. It's the first time they've done that since, I think, around the 60s or maybe the 50s.
Yep.
Bryson Daly's looked very sharp. He's been able to throw the ball. I believe he has around 300 passing yards, and he also has 730 yards and 14 touchdowns on the ground. Some people on Twitter and some people on some big sports sites have him even in the top 10 in the Heisman race. That's just how eye-popping this Army season has been. But East Carolina, they shouldn't take this team very lightly. While they may be 3-3, Jake Garcia, their starting quarterback, has 12 interceptions in their first 5 games. He got benched last game, so we're not sure the QB situation there. But they've had some tough losses against App State. They were leading against Liberty, who was supposed to be one of the top group of 5 teams. They haven't been able to finish a game, and against an Army team who's very run-heavy, if they're able to finish the game, I like them, especially considering they're getting a huge number, 17 on the road.
Not so fast there. I'll get to my Army pick later. For now, we have Missouri at home against Auburn. Auburn, man, they've been struggling this year. I think this Missouri team with Brady Cook, I think they're going to bounce back 4.5. I think that's just got to be an easy spread here to cover. So I'm taking them, even though I do think Auburn, they keep a lot of games close, but still, I think that's an easy pick there for me.
No, let's contradict your point right there, and let's take the Tigers at 2-4, 0-3 in the SEC. They're bottom of the standings. Let's take them on the road at Missouri. And Hugh Freeze has to feed Jarquez Hunter this game. He's been the best running back in the SEC. He has 500 rushing yards, only 78 carries, and he only has 3 touchdowns. Got to feed Hunter the ball. Missouri did look shaky 2 weeks ago when they got pounced by A&M. They looked great against UMass. In the bottom 10 article, Ryan Clark wrote that UMass was like their chiropractor. They put everything back in place for them. Auburn's played close games, but turnovers have hurt them. And against Georgia, it looked like they outplayed Georgia. If they are able to take care of business and play a clean game, they can win against Missouri outright on the road.
All right, so for my next pick, I got Arizona State plus 4.5 playing at Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati is a solid team this year. They've been playing great. But Arizona State, man, they've been playing great too. 5-1. They're down 5.5 right now. I think that's a very easy spread to take. I really like them to win this game outright. So I think they're going to get it done at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's been having a great year, but Arizona State's going to take them down.
So we're going to pick an interesting spread here at 3:30 in Norfolk, Virginia. We're going to take Texas State minus 10. A lot of people haven't been seeing their games because they've played a few weekday games Tuesday and Thursday the last few weeks. But Jordan McLeod, last year's James Madison quarterback that led them to success, has looked very sharp, and they've been blowing out their conference opponents left and right the last few games. Now they're playing an Old Dominion team that's pretty banged up at home, and they haven't looked good at all this year. They've played a few close games, but they haven't been able to finish it. I'll take the red-hot Texas State. They're favored by 10 in this one.
All right, so my next pick, I got Temple minus 2 over Tulsa. Both teams very down year. None of them have looked good. But so I'm, as well as a Clemson fan, I'm in the Army game. I'm an Army fan. I watched that Army game versus Temple this year. They didn't look too bad. I mean, Army beat them by a lot, but I saw some promise there. Tulsa, they look terrible. I'm going to roll with Temple -2. At home, I think they'll get it done. It will be close, but I do have them.
Yeah, and so our fifth and final normal spread pick for me this week is going to be UNLV. They're favored by 6.5 now. On the road at Oregon State. Oregon State is the slowest offense in Division I, and last week they turned over... No, their quarterback threw 4 interceptions last week against a very weak Nevada defense. They weren't able to slow down Nevada, and they lost to Nevada. Let's remember, Nevada's playing Fresno State tonight, and they're underdogs by 3 points, and UNLV smashed Fresno State by 40 at home. Now they're playing Oregon State, and Hajj Malik Williams is absolutely fired up to play in this game.
So, I got LSU -2.5 next. So, I'm agreeing with my partner here. I think Garrett Nussmeier, he makes great decisions. Taylon Green on Arkansas, he's really good too, but I don't know. I just think Arkansas, too big of a high for them taking down Tennessee. LSU, I think they should definitely cover that 2.5 spread. I got them by like 10 in this game. Maybe a bit shaky. Arkansas is still a solid team, but I think LSU will cover that spread.
And now on to the confidence pick, where I'm going to be going with Texas Tech at home against 2-4 Baylor. They're back in Lubbock this week. They had a slow start to the year with a loss, but Taj Brooks continues to show why he is one of the top backs in the country. He's nearing 700 rushing yards now. He's got 7 rushing touchdowns. Morden's looked good. At quarterback, he only has 2 interceptions, and Baylor has not looked like a good team whatsoever. Texas Tech is favored by 6 at home. In college football, you normally get 3 points if you're the home favorite. Favored by 3 on the road. I'll happily take Texas Tech, favored by 6.
So Brody said earlier he's got East Carolina +17. You know, I always ride with Army. No matter, picked them confidence so often. They always cover the spread. This one, 17, I don't know. But I still think they're going to get it done. Great rushing attack. They just seem to dominate all of their opponents. East Carolina, they're fine. They haven't had their best year, though. I think Army's going to win this game by 30 again. Keep the streak rolling. I like Army big.
So, those were our spread picks for the week. We're going to move on to our Super Dogs, which is an underdog by at least more than 1 possession. We're going to begin our Super Dogs this week, and we're going to keep them going for the rest of the season. I'll start things off again. And I'm looking at a MAC game. Last week I had Ball State as my confidence pick against Kent State. Kent State continues to be the worst team in Division I. They are 0-6 now. And they're on the road at Bowling Green. They're dogs by 21. And we know Bowling Green has Connor Bazelak. He's been in the Power 4, and he's been able to throw the ball efficiently in the Power 4. So who would take Kent State in this game? Well, I'm going to take Kent State. Even though they're 0-6, they showed fight last week with Ulakowski. They finally got their quarterback in Tommy. And if Tommy is able to throw the ball effectively, if they're able to get the 40-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter, if they can do that, they can potentially give Bowling Green a run for their money, which, let alone they should be able to cover the 21-point spread, even though they're 0-6. They can compete with MAC teams, not Power 4 teams.
All right, so speaking of MAC teams, I'm a Notre Dame hater. They lost to Northern Illinois, a MAC team. I feel like they always have a couple of these bad losses. I'm a Georgia Tech believer. I really like Haynes King and their offense. They got 14 points against Notre Dame. I'm going to take that for my Superdog. Notre Dame, they proved me wrong last week getting a big win at Stanford. I don't know. I still don't fully trust them after the NIU game. Again, I'm a hater. I believe in this Georgia Tech squad. I think at home for Georgia Tech, maybe they can pull off the upset. If not, I do see them covering that 14-point spread.
Interesting take there with Georgia Tech against Notre Dame, who's looked red hot their last couple of games. Riley Leonard's getting the offense going. Yeah. So let's move it on to some of the big games this week. And let's start on Friday, Oregon tonight, Oregon-Purdue. In 30 minutes, it's going to kick off. Oregon at Purdue. And Oregon's favored by 30. What do you see in that game, Lucas?
So, Purdue, they've looked trash this year. Terrible. I mean, they took Illinois to overtime last week. Crazy game. They scored like 40 in the second half. But, again, Oregon, they're coming off a big win. So, you could say trap game. I don't see Purdue as a trap game. Maybe Purdue covers the spread. I could definitely see that happening, but Oregon's going to win. Yeah.
You see, I see in this game Oregon-Purdue, I just think that 30 is a lot of points for Oregon to cover. I mean, they fought hard last week, and maybe the Ohio State game took a bit out of them. They should still easily win this game, but even a comfortable 40-15 game for Oregon, they still don't cover that spread. Dylan Gabriel has looked good, but he hasn't looked Heisman good that we were expecting. Tez Johnson looks good for the offense. So I kind of like Purdue getting 30 points at home in that game.
Next, Miami traveling to Louisville. I mean, I like Louisville. Quarterback, Shaw. I think Louisville, solid team, lost a couple close ones. I know they lost a close one to Notre Dame a couple weeks ago on the road. I do think this Miami team's been a bit shaky. I'm very tempted to pick Louisville outright. I had them as one of my spread picks, but I changed it last second because I know what Cam Ward can do. It's going to be a great game. I'm not too sure who's going to get it done. I think Miami could pull it out, but Miami's definitely on upset alert in this game. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with you here. Louisville at home, and they're getting 5 for Miami. Not really looking at the spread. Cam Ward has looked good, and that's why he is number 2 in the Heisman watch right now. He's the top quarterback, as we've seen. He's led Miami to a shaky 6-0 record. They've had some close battles, the Cal and Virginia Tech game. Xavier Restrepo's been good. Ja'Cory Brooks has been very good for Louisville. Tyler Shaw has been very good for Louisville. 5 points. It seems like a good number to take a Louisville in that ACC showdown. So let's keep it in the 12 o'clock window. Let's move to the Big Ten. Nebraska is going to take on Indiana on the road in Bloomington on Fox, where Indiana's there by 6.5, and the over-under is 49.5. What do you see there?
So, I mean, Nebraska, Dylan Raiola, Patrick Mahomes wannabe. I mean, I do think they're a solid squad. Indiana's been playing some great ball. Let's see here. It's at Indiana. Indiana's favored by 7. I think Nebraska is going to pull this one out. I'll tell you why. Nebraska's defense looked very good, allowing very low numbers of points. Raiola's been good enough. Decent offense. Indiana hasn't really had a test yet. I do see a possible upset. I'm going to pick Nebraska to win this one.
Okay, and I totally see why you'd pick Nebraska, but I'm going to continue rolling with one of the top teams in the Big Ten. They're better than Ohio State. Indiana, 6.5. Rourke, he stepped in the quarterback role perfectly. At Bloomington, they're going to be fired up for that game, so I'll take Indiana. I don't know if they'll cover the spread, but they're going to win the game.
So next we got Auburn traveling to Missouri. Again, I picked Missouri to cover the spread. I don't see too much in this Auburn team. QB problems everywhere. They got a lot of talent around them. I could see them being good in a couple of years, but for now, I'm going to roll with Missouri. No upset in this game. What about you?
Yeah, but don't you think Auburn's going to fight? No?
I mean, they do seem to keep it close. I mean, they kept it close with Georgia. They'll fight, but I see Missouri winning this game like 34-17, something along the lines.
Hey, this is a talented Auburn football team. That's why they put it on ESPN at 12, of course. So,
all right.
Peyton Thorne hopefully will get the offense going. I just can't watch another game if Peyton Thorne happens to throw an interception. It's going to be an annoying Saturday if he does. So let's move on to the big game at 3:30. Alabama goes to Knoxville to play Tennessee. Tennessee ranked 11, Alabama ranked 7th. And Alabama survived a scare last week when they barely were able to pull out with the win, where they got outplayed against South Carolina.
So Tennessee, I mean, I don't know. Nico Iamaleava, he's been like, Brody thinks he's been good. I don't know. I think he's been a bit shaky. He's been good against like Kent State, but Tennessee's at home. Rocky Top. Last time they were there, tore down the goalpost. That was crazy. So everything leads you to pick Tennessee, right? But no, give me Alabama. I think Kalen DeBoer had a couple bad games in a row. He's going to get the boys on track here. Win at Tennessee. I think they're going to win by like 10. Should still be a good game, but I think Alabama's going to get it done.
Yeah, I'm just so torn. I see the Alabama opinion from you, but I just don't know where to start with this game. Milroe continues to be, and he will be, the best player in this game. Rylan Williams has looked good, but Dylan Sampson is going to be a problem for this Alabama defense. He's run over every single defense he's played against this year. Like you said, they tore down the goalpost last year. I don't think they're going to tore down the goalpost. At least they shouldn't if they beat Alabama here. They're a football program under Josh Heupel here. I'm not going to pick a point spread on this game, but I definitely think we could see a low-scoring game.
Okay. So next up, we got Notre Dame, Georgia Tech. Again, I have Georgia Tech as my super dog. Notre Dame has been hot, to Brody's point. I mean, they just beat down Stanford. They beat down Purdue a couple weeks ago. They've been looking good. Somewhat of a trap game. I just feel it. I don't know. Haynes King, I really like him as a player. They got a good offense. Georgia Tech does. I don't know. Weird feeling about this one. I could see Notre Dame coming up with another big win, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, this game's in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That's how you know it's a big game for Georgia Tech. They don't normally play there.
Yeah.
But Georgia's out this week. Haynes King, yeah, he's looked pretty sharp. Same with their receiver core and their defense. The big win over Florida State doesn't look as good now. I think Notre Dame is going to just take care of business here, and they should be able to win easily in this game.
Yeah, it's a confusing one.
Yeah, let's move over to a ranked Big Ten matchup in Illinois. Michigan and their quarterback situation moves to the Illini this week.
All right, so I do think Luke Altmaier, I think he's a dog. Michigan quarterback, I don't know. They're all over the place. They got Orgy, Tuttle. He's like, some people say he's the real deal. I don't know about that. They got good running backs, Donovan Edwards and Kalel Mullins.
Yeah,
so, yeah, I think Michigan, they're always going to keep it close. They got a good O-line. They always got that good. They always win in the trenches. But Illinois, they're at home. I think Illinois is going to pull off the upset. It's going to be a close, low-scoring battle like 2017. What do you think here?
I'm going to continue to say this Michigan is not a good football team.
I agree.
They showed that a few weeks ago against Washington. They're just really not that good. Harbaugh leaving was a big problem, and their offense has been absolutely lackluster. A loss against Illinois takes them out of the top 25 this week, and that's probably what's going to happen in my opinion.
Next up, we got LSU traveling to Arkansas. Arkansas, again, coming off that huge win last week against Tennessee. Defense looked great. Quarterback got a bit banged up there at the end. Backup quarterback stepped in, did his job. He did great. LSU, they're also coming off of a big win last week. Ole Miss, great game, overtime. Nussmeier led them on a game-tying drive. Kyron Lacey's been looking really good. So that's why I picked LSU to cover the spread here. But Arkansas, if Taylor Green's healthy, they're definitely a solid football squad.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I like LSU in this game. Arkansas is a solid team. Jaquindon Jackson, the transfer from Utah, he's good. But this LSU team is going to thrive at Fayetteville. They're going to love being on the road in this game. They're going to be fired up to potentially be a top 5 team with this win. And let's head over to the big game, the Goliath on the card. It's Georgia. That's where game day is. Georgia at Austin to play Texas, number 1 team in the country against the number 5 team in the country. And Georgia's been tested in these games so far. Texas has kind of been tested. Who do you like here?
Yeah, Quinn Ewers coming back, taking over for Arch. Arch, he looked solid, but Quinn's definitely the real deal. Georgia, they got Carson Beck. That Alabama game, that's what I always look back to. That game was crazy. Carson Beck looked terrible in the first half. But the second half, he looked like the best quarterback of all time. That was such a great game. I think Georgia, they really need a big win. They could be, looking down the road, could be out of the college football playoff because they got a very tough schedule. So if they lose all these games, you never know. They could be sitting on the bubble. That just seems unbelievable to say because of how the dynasty that Kirby Smart has built.
Yeah, these are the big SEC games that you're going to see each and every year now that Texas and Oklahoma are in the SEC. This game's going to be sold out. The crowd's going to be extremely hyped up to play Georgia for the first time since the Sugar Bowl when Bevo and Uga were going at it. Uga's not traveling this week. That could be a problem for Georgia. Uga's a big deal on the Georgia sideline. And like you said, Georgia loss here is a big problem for them. They don't have any shortcuts ahead of them. I like Texas here, and I kind of like the 4.5 as well.
Yep. All right, so next, I think we got, Iowa State, man. They've been looking very solid. Abu Sama, running back. But then we got KJ Jefferson, UCF quarterback. Man, he was a great player back at Arkansas. Hasn't looked too good this year. Colorado kind of beat him down. Shedeur and Travis. But, it's Iowa State at home. I can't pick against them. I'm going to roll with Iowa State here. Just got a great, fundamentally sound football team. They should get the win.
Yeah, they're top 10 now under Rocco Becht, they've been pretty much the best team in the Big 12. That's up for debate, but UCF traveling this week, and UCF's going to play this one close. Iowa State really hasn't been able to blow out a team just yet. UCF should be able to play this one close with R.J. Harvey. They did not look good when we saw them against Colorado, but I like Iowa State to win. I just don't know if they're going to be able to put away this UCF team as early as I would have expected. And our final game preview we're going to do here on the Saturday Week 8 card is going to be Kansas State and Morgantown against West Virginia. Who do you like in this Big 12 matchup?
All right. We got Avery Johnson in the squad. I mean, West Virginia, Rocky Top. Oh, no, that's Tennessee. What am I thinking? Anyways, West Virginia at home. They got a great home field environment. It always gets hype over there. Pat McAfee, he's going to be cheering for them on game day like he always does. But Kansas State, I think they're the Big 12, not the Big 12 front runner. You got BYU and Iowa State, but they're up there with them. They're the Big 3 right now. So it's Kansas State. They have all the pressure on them. West Virginia looking to pull off the upset. I'm going to take West Virginia here. I think they got a great football team. Garrett Green, quarterback. I mean, I just think they're going to get it done. What do you think?
Yeah, that's an interesting pick. Garrett Green, he's looked fine. Morgantown, McAfee probably will end up showing up there. He's a big West Virginia guy because he went to West Virginia. Kansas State, though, they only have that one lingering loss. DJ Giddens has gotten it done in the run game. And for that reason, I'm going to take Kansas State here to take care of business in Morgantown. That's going to wrap it up for the game previews. And next week on the podcast, we'll talk about college basketball as the season is going to be coming to a start. We'll talk about who we like going down the line in March Madness and then the championship in April. We'll talk about the Wooden Award conference picks. And, of course, we'll recap Week 8 and we'll talk about our Week 9 previews. And on Hoops and Helmets, I'm Brody Jacobson with Lucas DeVries signing out.